correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
So yeah, man, I want to thank everybody, for showing up today. I mean, we're gonna pick the energy up. We're gonna pick the energy up. Yeah, man, we're gonna get right into it though, man. If you don't mind, let the audience know again, like your age and like your release date. And the
Okay.
and your name for those who don't know already.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we're gonna give you the official government, man. Official government. So you got Marshall Brown, FBI number 315027. I'm being held at JTVCC. That's the I don't even know the name of the dang on prison. That's John Correctional
Yeah,
Facility.
it's
He'll
James.
give you the details of
Yep,
that.
it's James
I ain't
T.
even here.
Vaughn. Yeah, James T. Vaughn Correctional Center. I got
There you go. There you go. Smyrna, Delaware. 19977. Now I am currently sentenced to 388 years plus life.
you.
Um, for assortment of felonies, the main ones being robbery, home invasion, and all these alleged. So after two trials, I was convicted and sentenced. Now my thing is sitting on the judge's desk and waiting on the blessings on my release date. So,
Yep, yep.
y'all gonna get the full disclosure of that down the line, but that's just who I am right now. I'm currently being housed in the shoe program in the fact, along with my you be catching my other guy swag on the other side. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's the lineup, man. That's the lineup, man.
For
That's who I
sure.
am. That's where I'm at. That's
For
where we going.
for sure, man. Yeah. And the last episode, so since we're just traveling through his life background of how he grew up, the last episode, he was talking about his relationship with a part of his family, things of that sort. So we're gonna pick up where we left off, of course. Just so we can, lead our way into, the case, which will be, up few weeks from now. So just be prepared for that, So just pay great attention, great detail, because everything would just, come in full circle. So yeah, man, we were just talking about like last week, like your relationship with your family, and I wanna like, dig into, I guess, like the elementary days, middle school days, and like, your friends and your influences and your hobbies and things of that sort. So what are some things you used to do, during your elementary, middle school days, after school or during school, man? Yeah, just let us in. Give us some insight.
Rolling with was pretty much just like me. We got out the house, we ran. We was the neighborhood kids, and we pretty much ran under the older cats. And
You have 1 minute remaining.
the old heads we call old heads was only probably like 6, 7 years older than us, but we looked up to them for everything. So we
Mm.
started off like store runs. Yeah, go to the store and keep the change type joint, doing all them little flunky stuff to actually earn your dues. It actually was different then than it is now. You just jump off the porch after watching Call of Duty and you got an assault rifle. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, I feel you. And
Thank you for using GTL.
we definitely going to get more into the OG's mentorship when he gets back here, man. But again, I appreciate everyone for, joining us today, supporting and pushing the platform. Of course, all productivity, progress, positivity, of course. Yo, Mac, we live.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so we just left off with the mentorship, what I mean, the OGs and stuff like that. So yeah, what was some of the OGs like back in the day? Like, did they ever like tell y'all like the consequences of these things or anything like that, or was they egging it on? What was like more of the feel of it back in the day?
Okay, okay, okay. So, all right. So now check the lesson. So I remember one time. So I'm up 2-4 at the park. Up 2-4 at the park. Shout out to Bob Marley, same stomping grounds. Kick the soccer ball. Check the facts. Up 2-4 at the park, and it was early morning, and it was a New York bull. I'm a pup, and he like 6'5", 6'6", 200 pound, 250. So anyway, he was cool. He like neighborhood. He was older than us, and he sold drugs, whatever the case may be. But he was from New York. So we was the only one out there, and we got into a debate or something. And in so many words, he kind of like, part of my French, he fucked me up. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think he, not really like a beat down, but just like a young boy me. Like, and you know what I mean? So I hit the ground, so I got up, I'm steamed, but I know I can't beat this dude. So I run around to my other old head house. So it's early in the morning, so I wake him up. I'm like, yo, what's up, what's up? And then he like, yo, what's up? What happened to your face? I'm like, man, I just got into it with the bull. He like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, come on, I want to ride out. Let me see your drink. So he had this little 38, no snuff, and no hammer. So he was like, all right, come on, let's go. So I got his car. He sparked his blunt up. We ride around, then we come up the block. So we park on the end of the block where you can't see us. So I'm like, yeah, let me see the joint. He up there right now. So he opens up the glove box and hands me a knife. And I'm like, what? I'm like, nah, I don't want. Let me see the joint. I'm gonna air him out. And then he said, nah, you want to do something to that man? Look him in his face and get up close and personal. Here, gave me the knife. And that right there was a lesson in itself because, I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Nah, it ain't even worth it. And I didn't, that taught me a lesson because it's easier for a person to get a gun and then just shoot pop from distance and don't hit your target, hit all these men. You know what I mean? It's just, people don't really tend to hurt. It's just to prove a joint. But when you get someone a knife, ain't none of that faking. It's right there. It's personal. So that right there taught me a lesson. And that moment right there, I steered away from violence. So I did what I did in the streets, but I wasn't really the violent, gun-toting type. That's never my MO. I get a couple of dollars, whatever. So that was like one of the lessons that was taught. We got back in the car, we rolled off, and a week later, a couple of days later, me and the boys, we back cool. So if it would have been anything else, that wouldn't have been possible. You know what I mean? So, that was some of the lessons that, the old heads gave us, straight off, the boat.
Right. Okay. So that was definitely a way of you learning. And that was a good lesson for you. Do you think that was the best way of going about that? From his perspective?
From his perspective?
Yeah. Do you think he should have handed you the knife or?
Yeah, see, and you know what? It takes one to be one sometimes. So I think in that question, he was really much seeing how committed I was to it. You know what I mean? Who's to say if I would have took it and jumped out the car and be like, no, stop. You know what I'm saying? But by him not giving me what I really wanted initially, I think that in itself was powerful because a lot of people, and I didn't see it, and a lot of, they'll give you that gun, like here, and whatever you do, you done it. So I think it was a beautiful lesson because that actually did change the course of how I operated down the line, and it taught me a lesson. So I think if it was given to me any other way, I might have not picked it up, or it might have not been instilled in me the way that was.
I understand. I got you. So he was definitely like the like he was the OG around the way. Did you used to go to the park still back then, like the basketball courts and chill there? Like, yeah.
Yes.
How was that? How was that experience?
See, that was our outlets, and we was, so we did blocks. I don't know, they, West Coast and all that, they come up on gangs. You got different gangs and stuff like that. That never was like really around us growing up. So our thing was blocks. So whatever block you hung out on, that was your block. And then so you had certain blocks that was allied with other blocks and certain blocks with beef with other blocks and all that. So we was fortunate enough to our block to have a park. So once you block out a park, like it makes you kind of universal where other people come to your block. And so it was a couple parks that was on this side of town, but that's where I learned to play basketball. Like, I never played under the whistle and professional or, under no school or anything. But I'm telling you, the bull, I got a mean crossover. I'm talking about, oh my.
You can't put, you can't hoop. You can't hoop, man.
I mean, you better check the facts. Hey, yo, shout out to Keith too. Keith got a little game under the whistle, but he know who king. You know what I'm saying? So,
can you beat
we never
Keith?
went to the park. We never balled.
I think we hooped once.
I think we did ball,
We
Juan.
hooped
We
once.
did ball.
Yeah, it's like The Wire or some shit like that.
I handled you too, didn't I?
Man, it was so long ago, bro. I don't even know, but man, I was really like that.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I don't know, but yeah,
Right.
babe.
Love is love. Love is love.
But yeah, you be hooping in there too, right?
Yep. That's what we do. But it's funny. I got I got a sciatic nerve, and this thing is like kooky. I never felt nothing like. I don't break bones. I'm normally healthy as a ox. But this little sciatic nerve sometimes be trying to put like a little crip in my game. But yeah, other than that, yeah, they hoop in there. They got tournaments in there and all that other stuff like that. But ain't no hooping where I'm at right now. We in the cage. Ain't no basketball court. We in the Max. We
Okay.
in Pelican Bay shoot program.
Yeah. So, what are some hobbies you doing there?
Well, so with hobbies in here, you know, you got the basketball. Then you got people that play chess and all. See, it's people do they bid different, and that's one thing they do. They bid. You know what I mean? See, I call myself I'm not a bidder. I'm not bidding. I'm not going to do stuff to pass time. I don't believe like it's not enough time in the day for me to get what I need to done anyway. So anytime I'm in my room, my hobby is basically my life, and that's exploring myself. And so, takes up so much. And so, documenting this and getting ready and getting prepared to go back out in the world and all that, I really am different than, the ones that are around me. Now, I can tell you what other people do to do their bit and their hobbies and all that, but it's go time with me. So, yeah, you pretty much what you see is what you get with this.
So y'all got cards in there?
Yeah. So I'm a spadeologist, when it comes to spades, I do that. See, I stopped gambling, so I don't do no gambling. So I know how to play all tabletops, poker and pinochle and all that. But yeah, I had renounced gambling a few years ago, and that's one of them things I fast from. So yeah, They got cards in here and they do all that. But like I said, back here where we at, ain't none of that.
Right. Okay.
You better play solitary in the cell or something.
Yeah, man. Okay. So we're gonna go back to back childhood days, growing up, elementary, middle school, things of that sort. So when did you at what age did you start smoking, or are you a smoker? I'm talking about
I'm thinking around the age of around the age of 10, 11. I think that's when I started smoking. Because I think first
10?
We was going in the backyard, we was rolling up leaves and shit, and just had the smell of it and trying to act like we was cool. And then I think, eventually, I think around 11 or 11. Probably 11. I know some people start earlier, but probably mine's around 11.
So you said it were kids younger than the age of 9, 10, because now we're seeing that, but at a mainstream status. They're like rappers. We have 8-year-old, 9-year-old rappers who are talking about, spinning the block, drill rap and all that right now, shooting dice. And everyone is looking at it like, what is this world coming to, right? But from you just saying that, I guess this has been a thing, and you're just giving your experiences of what you've seen. I guess back in the day it was happening, but there wasn't a social media to display it,
Keyword.
or
there you go.
It wasn't anything to expose it. But now we see it happening, and it's like a shock to everyone. But people who aren't, or who aren't in the hood, you feel me, or don't even know anybody to go to the hood, will be like, wow, this is new, this is crazy. Right. But you're saying it's been happening.
Yeah, it's the norm. It's the norm. I mean, you got to think, and you put the key words. When you said, basically, all this stuff been happening. I'm going to tell you one thing, bro. I read this book. It's a good book, man. Shout out to Robert Greene. So he's the one that wrote 48 Laws of Power. But he also wrote this book called The Laws of Human Nature. And in one of the last chapters in that book was going on generations. And one thing you always hear, history repeats itself. So, but they say that every generation, the one that was after that generation, they always comment, man, this is the worst generation, this. but it always was one that seemed like it was worse. You know what I mean? So it's pros and cons
Mm,
to everything, and all that stuff been happening. It's just now people have these vehicles where it's now seen. You know what I'm saying? Rodney King stuff.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Rodney King stuff been happening, but it got
mm,
caught on TV. That's why it's big. The Floyd,
mm.
George Floyd. That stuff been happening. It's just
Facts.
now social media is present. Now all that thing is, a sight for sore eyes, and now it's a shock. But for us, being in the hood, it's like, oh, y'all just now seeing this? Yeah, this is regular for us. So yeah, I don't be shocked with none of this. It's just now they have the platforms. You know what I'm saying? And it's not good on entertainment.
Mm,
Thank you for using
that's
GTL.
a fact. Yo, we live. We still live, man. That was very interesting. That was very interesting, right? Because we're talking about current events and we're talking about past events at the same time, right? Because this is actually at the height of its, like, we're seeing a bunch of things happen, right, being displayed on social media. And it's crazy because now we're exposed to this and people are starting to now wake up, versus
Mm.
back then. Do you feel like people was just, I guess, going with it, like just not knowing what it is, or like what's your perspective when it comes to, I guess, the whole woke the whole woke movement? Like, you think people was woke
Well,
back in the day?
well, I'm gonna say this, right? Ignorance is bliss. That's starting and foremost. Ignorance is bliss, and you'd be surprised how many people prefer to keep their head in the sand versus to see, what's right before their eyes. So before there wasn't, it wasn't on their doorsteps. You know what I'm saying? So you had the hood, but then you had, the suburbs, and it was a separation. So what went on in the hood pretty much was in the hood till it leaked out on certain news. But to the hood, it's always been that. And so now with the presence of social media, it connects everyone from around the world. So someone can be sitting in a suburban home and see something directly from the hood. And so when all that comes in, so now you are exposed to this. Now there's two things. You can say it's a problem that needs fixing, and you can boom, and I'm gonna go this to support this, or you can go ahead and think it doesn't affect you. You know what I'm saying? And so now, as a whole, as a humanity as a whole, we all have a crisis that we're going through. So we got the crack epidemic that hit our hood. You know what I'm saying? But now look at the opiate epidemic that hits the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? So all of it is connected. And when you say that word woke, it's levels to that. You know what I'm saying? And that's a conversation all in itself, because
Mm-hmm.
it's levels of how woke a person is and
Right.
how conscious somebody is. And
That's a
so,
fact.
to a certain level, I'm still like, see, it's all about all of us waking up, really waking up to, remember who we are. And that's what it is. We just forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we need to learn, we just forgot. And so to wake up, you kind of need someone to help you wake up. You can't wake up by yourself. And normally it takes real rap, the real woke, it really takes a community to wake up. It takes a school at least. And that's why I used to have the mystery schools, and people used to go to Egypt and Asia and study under these things, because there was techniques to, like, look, I wake you up, you wake me up, you keep me woke. Because you can wake up and fall back to sleep too. Or you can wake up and think you woke, but the whole time you dreaming, and you know what I mean, you dreamt you woke up. So
So,
that's a whole subject in itself. But the world as we know it, everything's on front stage.
do you feel like there are similarities in the school system and the prison system?
Hmm. Hmm. Cribs to correction. I think absolutely. See, and this is we go back to the thing, and that's why I always, and I'm a, as y'all get the whole story, like, we only see certain things in parts. It's not many people that see things whole, and that's why I always have the question: is a person a suspect or is he a victim? And so you got to think how the school system is designed. So the school system is designed, first of all, it takes you young. So if you go back to ancient times, the young is the most precious. That's why they say villages raise them. You know what I'm saying? And so the school is supposed to be something as a village, but it's doing it's doing a different program technique. Do you even know what your kids are getting when they go to these public schools? And you know what I mean? We know the elite know when they send their kids to these elite schools, they know they're coming out to be, a part of something heavy. But when you go to these public schools, what is it truly designed to do? And mind you, it exposes us to other youth that's around, but it exposes us to the poverty and all this. And it doesn't really, like I said, I just take my own personal thing. How I was going through school, if I seen a young youth as my age going through what I was going through, I would have intervened and I would have took him and I would have showed him so much more. But you would drown, and you got certain places. School system is even worse than other places. So the whole thing, the problem with the school system, the first point is look how much the teachers get paid. You know what I'm saying? So you'll pay all this and billions of dollars for this, but we won't pay to educate our kids. That's first and foremost. And then then you have corrections. Corrections is waiting for them to graduate school to them graduate until jail. Because you're exposed. Now mind you, they say, yeah, you got a choice, but do you really got a choice? So when you hungry and you starving, and mind you, you got people that come, like, look at my brothers and sisters. My brothers, came from the same avenue I came from and doing good in life. You know what I'm saying? But then you got me, you got my younger sister that's, street sucked us in. So the design to be this and be pro. Now, if I was raised in a family where my mom was competent as well as my father, and they both worked and had a job and all this upbringing, yeah, that would have been different, and college would have been on the table. But college ain't never been on the table. I mean, you couldn't even fathom. I didn't even go to high school. I never walked in and went to high school.
But do you feel like
college? So we get to looking at how many of our people go to college.
But I feel like
You know what I'm saying?
college is like, to me, college is a scam now. To me.
Yeah, see, I think it's a network. I think it's networking, and it works for those that knows how to work it. So when you go to college and you go to these Ivy Leagues and all this, so you basically, people have been getting groomed since they're children to be something of a high level, to be CEO of a company, to be a banker, to be at these top positions around the world. So they're groomed to go through these private schools and all these other schools. So their college serves them as a networking tool. They reach join these secret societies or whatever, however you want to call it, bones and skulls and all that. Look at all the presidents of the United States had some connection to this. And so what it is like, as you go there, you'll learn each other's secrets and certain, secrets of the world. Who knows what they're teaching there? But you basically walked out there a made person. Now, that's different from a person that's not connected and go to college and get scammed, like you're right, and come out of college owing $80,000 in debt and don't even work the job that they majored in and all that. You know what I'm saying? So it's derived to put you in a cycle of debt and all that, because that's all society is consumership and debt. And so if there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there tell you you don't need no damn college.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that, but I do think it depends on what you're trying to do, because there's some things that you cannot be just street smart about, like coding and stuff like that, or cyber security and law and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? But in that case, if you're doing something with it with the degree, then you still have to,
then it makes a little
pay
more
it
sense.
off. Yeah, it
but
makes a
my
little
whole
bit
thing
more
is,
sense.
if you're not doing what gives you joy and what gives you passion, then what is you doing? Is you living?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole thing. People take this certain thing. If you're not working, if you don't go to job, if you don't wake up every day and the clock that you punch makes you happy and it's not like you even working, then what are you doing? You serving someone else's purpose. And I know down the line, let me do this to do this, and then when I retire, I can do that. Nah, that's that mode of putting things back. Don't put off today tomorrow what you can do today. So my whole thing is, if your job doesn't consist of, man, I love my job. If you're going to work every day like, I hate this job, I mean, who says you have to do that? You're being programmed to do something, and look how much time you get that. I say the same thing to these guards that's doing 16-hour shifts. You're getting paid to lock yourself up. Like, what type of life is that? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people take advantage of how blessed the bums is. A bum on the streets with no attachments, no worlds, no cares. Food comes to them, and you know what I'm saying? But look at us out there in the mix. I say, the true definition of wealth, and I got a wealth class too, the true definition of wealth, why people is trying to get their credit score I think you should have a zero credit score. I think if you can't buy something straight out and own it from the gate, I don't think you should get in debt with it. Because if you go buy a car, the car costs $27,000 with payments. If you come with $20,000 cash, you can go off the lot with it. They don't want you to do that part. They get their money in the finance. You know what I mean? So, that's one of the program tools that it teaches you and we give to our children and children, while on the other side, they getting the real secrets of entrepreneurship. I mean, we do got to wake up, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I think we are at this point. There's more, at least people who starting to see, because I even seen like visuals, but the similarities between school and prison, like the school buses versus the prison buses, or the trays that these kids get, or the cafeteria that they're in.
You just went psychological. I didn't even go that deep. You
Yes.
just went
So
underlying programming.
yeah, so it's underlined to the point where they adopted this system from, I believe, like a military type of. But that's a whole nother discussion. I'm gonna pull up. I have to pull up the facts and all that. But like from another
they
country.
Say it out of their own mouth. They say there's their own mouth, cribs to correction. And I just found out this fact, and y'all can always check it for me. I don't like to put fake news out there. But check this fact, and I'll check with the viewers and all that. Somebody can comment and let us know the truth. I heard that the United States prison population is more than Russia and China combined.
Yeah, and actually,
look how big them places is.
And actually, we actually have to do a segment of facts over feelings type of segment, because that is something that I did see.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's locked. It's like United States getting locked up at a overwhelming rate, and I do believe, not even starting to believe, but they make their money off their citizens in every way. If that's taxes, if that's being an inmate, if that's being a patient, if that's being something, right?
Yes, like you said, that's a whole different subject. But this is what's fueling America. And then look what they do. They tax money on this side, then they tell the people on the other side, yeah, these prisons are costing you this. But they don't talk about the private prisons, which you can send your equipment in here and it gets done in here for pennies compared to even sending it overseas. So it's a big business when it comes to prison, and they not they don't see you I don't what's the definition of jail reform? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a whole different thing, and I look forward to us exploring that in the future, because I got some facts to pull out the cut too.
Yeah, for sure, man. And
you have 1 minute remaining.
And before we end this, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you know how good conversations go. And before we end this last segment, man, like I just do believe that they're conditioning their bodies, like these children at a young age, to be, in fact, if they do, if they are locked up, to be ready for that. Just due to the same kind of conditions from the school system and prison system. But yeah, man. Last words, Mac. Man, last words, man, before we get up out of here.
Man, last words, man. Like, it's always one love, man, and we all connected. So, help out your brother, help out your neighbor, man. You got somebody that's locked up, man. Reach out, man. Send it. Reach out on the tablet. There's no reason why. Don't make it be out of sight, out of mind. You know what I'm saying? Show love, man. We here, man, and let's save the future, man.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thank you for using GTL.